Hey beautiful people, you are welcome back again to my channel. I'm glad to see you all again. If today is your first time of coming across this channel, you are most welcome. Well, in today's video, I'll be giving you an update. It's a particular program by which you can immigrate to Canada, and the processing time is not that long, and I'm sure you don't want to miss out. Please, if this sounds like what you love, kindly watch this video to the end because it could be your opportunity to immigrate to Canada. And don't forget to also comment, like, and share this video. This program is known as the Rural Renewal Stream in Alberta. So it's not just in all the provinces, but just peculiar to Alberta. This Rural Renewal Stream is a program organized in Alberta, and not just Alberta, but the rural communities in Alberta. Of a truth, Canada still wants new immigrants. So this Rural Renewal Stream is a program in Alberta that empowers communities to recruit and retain foreign nationals to live, work, and settle in their communities. You see, one interesting thing about this pathway is that you don't have to necessarily be in Canada to apply. So this opportunity is open to those that are inside of Canada and outside of Canada. So if you are thinking, oh, I believe this pathway is for those living in Canada already, no. If you are outside of Canada, you can, consider this pathway. The program was created to address current labor needs and skills shortages in rural Alberta communities. So this is just like a general overview. I will still explain better. It says, so to be eligible, so let us just know how to go now. To be eligible, applicants must get a letter of endorsement from the Community's Economic Development Organization, known as EDO, and a job offer from an Alberta employer for a position in the community. Guys, I know you will say, oh, this one requires job again. But the thing there is that when you've met with other criteria, if I'm not wrong, job is not difficult to get. And I will tell you why. So let's keep going. The Rural Renewal Stream is a part of the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program, AAIP, and aims to attract skilled Canada immigration newcomers to rural areas of the Canadian province. If you can identify the rural places in Canada, it is easier for you to also get a job. Where most persons are missing it, they are going to those big cities, all those Alberta, all those places. Before you will get a job there, it could take time. I'm not saying it's not possible, but the easiest way you can get a job is when you visit those rural places, and you don't necessarily need to go there physically. That is why we have the internet. Okay, so let's continue. Let me talk more about the Rural Renewal Stream. So it has a two-step process. Okay, so the first one is community designation. This is where the community recruits newcomers to, meet labor needs. That's just the first step. The second step is the candidate submits the AAIP application. Talking about the community designation, this process is more like a nomination program. I'm saying that because that was the route I used. We were nominated by Saskatchewan province. So it's almost the same pattern they are following. When a community designates you, they don't just want to use the word nominate, then that one you are like 50%, into the process. So it will see that letter of endorsement or designation, whatever that you have been given by the community. It is that letter you will now use to apply, or you will now submit alongside with your application. So now let's look at what the community designation requirement is. So under the Rural Renewal Stream, communities must apply to be designated, showing they meet the following requirements. See, it is not all communities in the rural part of Alberta that are qualified for this stream, not all, even though they are in the rural. There are some conditions those communities need to meet in order to be able to endorse you or designate you. You understand? So one of the requirements is that the population of that community must be less than 100,000. So if it is even less than 10,000, you have more points. You know, I've always said it that the Canadian system works with points. If you are doing express entry, they will tell you if your age is this, it's also points. If you have a work experience, also points. So the Canadian system at all is all about points. So now here is telling us that if the population is less than 100,000, that is when that community can be qualified to designate a candidate. But if the community has a population which is far less than 10,000, you have more points. For example, if a community that is designating you has like 80,000, you are very, very qualified. I've just cited an example. Let's say that will give you, like, for example, maybe 8 points. Then if that community has like a population of about less than 10,000, your points could be like maybe 15. I'm just saying. And now you may want to ask, how do I know the population of the community? It's not a big deal. That is why the internet is there. You go to the internet, surf rural areas in Alberta, then, or rural communities in Alberta. Then you start checking the communities. You can now ask, okay, what's the population of this particular community? I hope you are getting my point. So that it doesn't look like a rocket science. It's not something that you should start overracking your brain. Oh, I'm outside of Canada, how will I know the population? It's even possible you're in Canada and you don't still know the population of the community. So you can use the internet to determine that. The second requirement is that it has to be located outside of the Calgary and Edmonton census metropolitan area. So you also look out for that. Then another one is one or more employers interested in participating should have full-time, yeah, not seasonal and permanent jobs available. Whoever is going to be your employer in any of these communities, let's say for example, the communities have met with the first two requirements. The employers in charge of this must have a full-time job, not seasonal job, and their job should be permanent jobs. It's not the jobs that, oh, they did it 6 months ago and now they post and now they want to start. No, the employers you are going to be working for, let me put it that way, or the employers that's going to be um inviting you over to get the job or recruiting you should have a full-time non-seasonal job. Okay, and the jobs must be permanent jobs and readily available. The fourth requirement is that you need endorsement letter of support from the community or town council. So this is why I said this stream or pathway looks like a provincial nominee program, PNP. You know, in PNP you also need a letter. In fact, it is with that letter you will use to apply in your express entry that will now lead to your permanent residency. Yeah, so that was how I did mine. So when I saw this route, when I saw this pathway, I saw so many similarities. Of course, you will need a letter of support from that community. And again, the fifth requirement for this community designation is that the endorsement letter of support must be from a settlement providing organization. Let me take that again. Endorsement letter of support from a settlement providing organization. So that's all for the community designation requirements, and that's the first step. Then the second step is that this is more now from the candidate. It is two ways: meeting the community requirements, and the second step is meeting the candidate requirements. So this is now for example, for me. So the requirement is that I will need an endorsement of a candidate letter from designated community. Then the second requirement is that I should have a full-time permanent job offer for minimum of 12 months and 30 hours per week. You understand? I will be in the next slide, I'll be showing you guys the ineligible occupations. You know, there are some occupations that are in demand in certain provinces, and that is how we have some jobs that are not in demand. So I'll be showing you some occupations that are ineligible for this particular pathway or this program. The third requirement as a candidate is that you need to have a valid licensing, you need to have a registration and certification as required by the position of the job you want to do. Canada as a country have different jobs, and those jobs have different criteria, like some of them need certifications alone, while some requires licensing, some requires you to be registered. For example, if I'm talking about food industry, maybe you want to be a chef or a cook, it is expected that you should have a food handler um, licensing or certificate rather. So those are the things they are really talking about here. If it's welding that they want you to come and do, you should have something to back that up. You need to meet the language requirements. Yes, so I'll be showing you that also in another slide. Then again, you need to have minimum of Canadian high school education or equivalent. So when you talk about high school education, if you are in Canada, you will not need WES, or will I say WES? You will not need ECA. Sorry, WES is a body that can help you get your ECA done. If you are outside of Canada, you will get the equivalent of the Canadian high school education, and you know how to do that already. That you will determine using your ECA, that's your educational credential assessment. If you don't know how to go about that, I have that video on my YouTube channel on how to do your ECA. I'll be linking that video to this video. Then the last requirement is that you should have the required settlement funds. This pathway requires proof of fund. I'll also be showing you that in another slide. So if you are interested in this pathway, you can see it doesn't require so much. I will just be dropping the link on how to, apply. And maybe if you need more clarification, I'll also be dropping the link in the description box. There is no harm in trying. Just do a general overview. You could just be eligible, you understand? And if you are talking about the processing times, definitely it's not 6 months because you are not going through express entry. Let me give you the application process summary. So for a better understanding of the process, everything has been summarized. And the first one is that the candidate must have an endorsement of candidate letter from their designated community. Then the second one is that you need to apply to the rural renewal stream when the stream is open in the AAIP portal. So you do this by completing the online application and uploading all requested documents. The third step is that you need to apply for the permanent residence to the federal government IRCC within 6 months of receiving the nomination. So this means that it is after AAIP processes their application, that's when candidate needs to apply on paper to IRCC and include the nomination documentation received from the AAIP. Let me talk about the processing times. The AAIP is assessing applications received before May 24, 2023. So the estimated average processing time is 1 month. It's quite short, right? So if you want to know if they are still open, the rural renewal stream is usually open. Okay, so you can always verify that on their sites. In the case of the rural renewal stream, there is no in-demand list. It means instead a job offer is needed to be eligible to this stream. There's also an ineligibility list of knock codes that will not be processed by the AAIP. I have shown you that previously. Alright guys, that's all for this pathway or stream or program, whichever way you want to call it. It is what most people don't talk about, and I have brought it forward to you guys. You can consider this option. There's no harm in trying. Just surf the internet. I'm not an immigration expert, I'm not an immigration agent, but what I do is I do more of research to see that I can bring some updates, some useful updates to you guys. So if you are considering this pathway, I wish you well, and I hope it will turn out positive for you. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, please do, so that the ministry can keep moving forward. If you have not liked this video yet, please like it to, make the algorithm happy. Don't forget to share this video as well. So many persons may need this information. Okay, see you all in my next video. Bye.